Alright, you guys, so we're going to get started on the face. I have my napkin. I always put my napkin. I'm always ready for it. And I'm going to be using a soft brush. Remember, I told you if you want to use a bristle brush, which is a little bit harder, you can go ahead and do that. It's up to you. And I'm going to be putting a little bit of linseed oil with some white and some raw umber, and I'm going to be making a scale, a gray scale, changing the value of things, and I'll show you. Let me make this go away far first. As you can see, I'm doing the grayscale right there. Can you see that? Right here. And we have 3 values, and that's basically how I'm going to be doing and painting, creating those different values with linseed oil. So let me go ahead and put the focus on the face. I'm going to see if I can put the I was going to see if I could put the paints on there so you can see, but I know you guys want to see me paint the face, so let's see what we can do. Okay, I was hearing that song "Miss You Like Crazy" and I'm like, I got it. Let's see, I'm gonna try to do it that way. Hopefully you can see a little bit of what I'm doing. You know, back in the day, the old masters used to paint this way. If I do that, it's going to take away, and I know you want me to see. I know you want to see how I do the face. So, yeah. That's how it's going to have to be. The hand. I apologize, you guys. I was hoping that... But all we're doing is like doing a grayscale, okay? Alright, so I'm trying to see, and it looks like the light is coming from this way to her face. Maybe, yeah, the light is this way, coming down here. So, because you can see the shadow underneath there. So, let's see. There we go. We're basically going to be sculpting her. I want to thank you guys for all my subscribers. I hope I'm able to teach you guys something. You know, some of us learn from watching. That's the best way I learn. Don't be surprised if my kids come home pretty soon. I want to thank you guys. I really do, for being with me through the years. And right now I'm just putting the light where the light is coming from. Remember that things that have angles facing towards the that have angles that protrude out are things that are going to be hit by the light. So I'm putting that white on there. Now, because this part of the forehead's going to go down a little bit, it would be a little bit darker. So we're going to do that. This part, it goes in a little bit. This is a little bit darker. The side of the nose, underneath the nose, right? Underneath the mouth, the here. Yeah, so that little machine gave me a headache. Underneath here. A little bit on the side. Because the light is not really on there because the light's facing her forehead. Right there. So with art, we basically sculpt. And I want to thank my grandmother, my great-great-grandmother, not my grandmother, but my great-great-grandmother, for being with me. She influences me so much. If it wasn't for her, I would have never picked up that brush. I always wanted to paint, but she's the one that gave me the courage to go ahead and pick up that brush. Thank you. Don't be afraid to try oil paints. At first I was really afraid. I was like really stressing out when I was first starting out to oil paint. I was like, oh my God, what if I mess up? What's gonna happen if I mess up? And it's like, well, you never know until you try. Just do it. The great thing about oil paints is that they take a while to dry. And you can always go over the stuff. You can wipe it out with some turpentine. That's the great thing. And you could always do your own art style. Don't ever let anybody criticize you on your art style. You know, your art style is your art style. You paint how you want to paint. It's what you see. Everybody sees different. Not everybody sees the same. So that's the beauty of art, you know. We all see different. Some people have the misconception that art is so easy and that people who paint don't deserve to make the money. They don't see everything that goes into a painting, you know? And even though it takes an artist with a lot of experience, a very minimal amount of time to paint, because they've worked hard, they've had that knowledge, it didn't happen overnight unless you're a prodigy. They worked at it. And some people think, oh, well, it only took you a few minutes to do this painting. That means I should only pay you this much. You know, that's a skill the person learned. It kind of saddens me when a lot of people don't realize how hard it is, how hard somebody worked to gain that skill. And they think that they shouldn't pay you as much for your art. If it was so easy, everybody'd be doing it. Or they wouldn't have to hire you to do it. I had somebody who only wanted to pay me like $20 per painting. And, you know, I was like, you don't realize how much it takes me to do a painting. Until one time she saw one of my videos and she was like, oh my God, I didn't know you had to go through that. I guess you thought I just did a stroke and there it was. But just the farther you hold your brush, the farther it is, the looser the stroke is. It makes it like softer. My images I get off eBay, and I was telling you guys that I used to be able to go on sometimes I can go to the store, what is that store, that pharmacy, and get my prints, and sometimes I don't have any problem, but then sometimes I do have problems with the cashiers. And I'm like, I have vintage. These are, you know, copyright free pictures that I have. And a lot of these pictures were, I think, of French famous people. And you know, from before the 30s. And I try to tell them. And sometimes they're like, well, now I need to see your proof that you have a right to use these pictures. And so now I just point to myself. You can squint. When you squint, you can see the darkness of things. Everything kind of starts accumulating together. They start forming like a group. Of things. And that's how you can tell if you have the right value. And as I mentioned, when you do a lot of paintings like this, it'll start helping you being able to see the depth of things. What do I mean by depth? You know, if something needs to be a little bit darker, something curves. It's a little difficult for me because of my vision problem. And some of you might be like, well, why aren't you wearing your glasses? Well, I only see out of one eye. So, it's not, I actually have 20/20 vision, but it plays tricks on me. Sometimes I will wear glasses though. Like when I was painting and I got that headache. Yeah, I put on my glasses. Okay. It also helps, you don't have to, I mean, you paint what you see, not what you know is there. So, I went to massage therapy school when I lived in Gulfport, Mississippi, and it also kind of, you learn the bones, you learn where everything is, and that kind of helps me. But then, like, my eyesight wants to x-ray things, and I have to tell myself, you paint what you see, not what you know is there. I always have to tell myself that. Let me see how far the arm goes. Okay, it goes pretty far. Yeah, that little machine just basically gave me a point of reference, like this is where this stops, this is where that stops. So, as far as copying. That's a pretty good little tool to have, I guess. It's important to know where your light source is. I wonder how it was to live back in the day. See, I have this finger here, and I have another one here. There's two fingers. One here, and one here. The under shadow right there. Also touching some of the hair. I'll at it. A little bit of light. Kind of comes out a little bit. Too dark. There we go. Because I kind of see the light going this way, but the light is not as dark as the top light, so I'm having to correct that a little bit. There we go. There. I see it come up here. I also see it here. So where do you see what you see? If you guys ever go see paintings, really digest what you see. Really study them. My daughter's friend was doing that. Like, we're both, she loves art too. And when she comes and sees my paintings, I'll see her dissecting everything. That's how I know she wants to paint. These people dissect. And I think a company hired her to do a concept art for something they want to work on. That's pretty good. If you guys want good videos to kind of see, to learn, okay. Johnny Lala Doll's a good one. But hers is more like a, well, you know, don't watch a lot of them. You'll learn a lot from watching different artists. Pick up what you like. That's what I do. First, I didn't used to watch many artists because I couldn't find any, but now thanks to YouTube, wow, there's a lot of talented people out there. If you squint all this blends together. I used to want to paint everything like in one sitting. Now it's more about pleasure. Now I take my time. I don't try to hurry like I used to. It's relaxing. I don't know why I used to want to hurry up, but now that I've slowed down, I've definitely seen a major improvement in my art. So yeah, you know, take your time when you paint. This goes here, and then this comes this way. And if you mess up, don't worry about it, because the great thing about painting with oils, you can always go over it. Her hair's there, so I'm gonna, that's what I'm trying to do. Actually, it comes out like this. See, so if you have something that's really light, I always put dark around there so it can kind of pop. Let me see. This kind of goes like that. And then don't put light into your dark, because then that's a big no-no. All right. See, it's like we're sculpting. There we go. See? And then this is a little bit smaller. I'm trying to get this shape right. Okay. And then this is a little bit smaller, which it should be. This comes in. There we go. The lip is this way. Sometimes what you can do is you can get put your paintbrush, and like what I do is I kind of like I'm drawing over my painting, drawing over the picture, and see the curve of the mouth. And the curve of the mouth is like this. Once I go over it, kind of blends in with her. And that lip comes down a little bit. We'll get it. There. And then and a little bit of light. Remember, because the nose is over it, so it's not going to be as light. So I'm really hoping that I do it right. There we go. Lip. Later on, you're gonna find certain tricks to do your mouths. Always do like a little happy curve.